This 1886 Queen Anne mansion is the tallest single-family home in St. Paul, and it has a lot of surprising and fun details. I'll show you how I would decorate it if it were mine. But first, a quiz. Do you know what these things on the shelf are and what they were used for? I didn't, but Mr. If It Were Mine did. And that means that it's either car related or World War II related, maybe Roman Empire. Stick around until the end of the video and I'll tell you what they are. Because first, you've got to see this house. We've got some decorating to do. The house has 9,400 square feet with lots of original features like leaded glass windows and a pipe organ. Because, of course, a home like this would have its own pipe organ. It also has this beautiful porte cochere covered entrance for carriages. It's a work of art, which is why these former owners got their picture taken in front of it. Just in time for spring, I give you a picture of finches nesting on Crocus Hill. This is George C. Finch and Nellie G. Finch, but the house is more commonly known as the Rice-Merriam House. But we'll get into the history later. Here you can see more of that beautiful detail that looks just as good from the outside as it does from the inside. This first room is the front parlor or music room. It's a beautiful light-filled space with the working pipe organ next to the fireplace for a little hot jazz in the evening or a defiant jazz dance experience for you Severance fans. It's right up front where all the neighbors can hear it and be impressed by it. How do you decorate your room around your pipe organ? Like this, with a banquette across from it for your appreciative audience. This design is by Stan Topol. His design would also work well for this room, which is another front parlor. I initially thought it was the dining room, but this is the dining room. You can tell because those swinging doors lead into the kitchen. If it were mine, it would look like this. I spliced together a few different ideas here, but the main design is from B&R Interiors. Kind of wakes up that boring traditional dining room a little bit with unexpected color. And the mural could be the view that only this house has of St. Paul. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to actually paint the trim green, but maybe if I listened to more defiant jazz, who knows what could happen. Meanwhile, the kitchen has commercial-grade appliances and lots of storage. There's plenty of room to store your cookbooks, but only your cookbooks, because the rest of your books, and I'm assuming if you're interested in this house, you own a lot of books. The rest of your books can go in this room off of the kitchen, which I think is a nice little breakfast nook. Or your books could go here in this little den. It's just such a perfect little room for reading. Or if you go upstairs, your books could go here where there's room for them up and over the doorways even. And another wonderful place to read would be here in the sleeping porch. It's also a wonderful place to decorate, like this. This design is by Sarah Richardson. It was a promotion, I think, for the wool industry. That's why the sheep are there. But anyway, would you decorate this space more traditionally if it were yours with an iron bed and old-fashioned fans? Or would you go a little more contemporary like this? Leave a comment and tell me, how far would you push the decorating envelope in this traditional house? because in this bedroom, I think I would go a little more traditional. This design is also by Sarah Richardson, and it gives us a great idea of how to decorate this bedroom with a lot of height. The simple bed curtains draw your eye straight up to those ceilings, and so did the lamps. But notice the lamps are also at a great height for reading in bed. The light would shine right down on your book. Everything there is just a nice, simple, classic design, and I think the bench would look beautiful in an 1886 mansion. That brings us to this dressing room. It's a little more contemporary. It looks like it was created from another bedroom, because the rest of the closets in the house look like this. Don't you love that little call system? It's so cute. There are 7 bedrooms total. I love the little mirror in front of the windows. I wish we had a better shot of it because I think it's really creative. Okay, now we're on the 4th floor addition. It was added sometime in the 1970s, and that's what's giving us the views that no other home in the St. Paul area has. This is another room because the house wasn't big enough without this room. But a historic mansion is supposed to have a billiard room or a ballroom on the top floor. In this case, a billiards room, which is how I would decorate it. And I considered this fabulous design by Jan Showers for the space. But in the end, I think I would go with this more masculine design by Melanie Turner. It seems a better fit for the space. This room opens on to this rooftop deck, which has a great view, and it has the sleeping porch and the 1st floor sunroom below it, you can see there, which brings us back to those mystery objects. They actually are car related. They are smudge pots, which were used as road flares by road crews when they had construction sites. They were the warning lights they used because they didn't have battery or electric lights. They were used through the 1970s, and they're very heavy and cast iron, so most likely at that point they were scrapped or recycled, when they obviously should have been put to decorative use. Although the road crews would probably laugh at this, like displaying a chamber pot in your kitchen because it's a cool old antique. But these actually are cool old antiques. And I liked how the row of them lined up like that kind of echoes the row of decorative terracotta pots on the outside railing. The house has 2 entrances, one from Crocus Place and one from Crocus Hill. So there's plenty of space to swing that carriage around. The house was designed by architect William Channing Whitney, and the National Register of Historic Places says it's the only original unaltered mansion in that neighborhood. It also says it has irregular massing, a truncated Flemish-influenced tower roofed with sheet copper, and a framed porte-cochere with Syrian arches and an undulating roofline, just in case you didn't notice that earlier. It was built for politician Edmund Rice, so it's most commonly called the Rice-Miriam House, but more accurately, it's the Rice, Finch, Egan, Miriam, Flersheim Bear House, and then some. The original building cost $15,000, which is about $461,000 in today's money. It's near McAllister College and Grand Avenue, and just a few blocks from the F. Scott Fitzgerald House. The Crocus Hill House is, in Fitzgerald's words, a colossal affair by any standard. It may be a colossal affair, but my favorite part of this house are these two little yellow swings in the backyard. And that's a wrap for the Crocus Hill House. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And for more content, visit my website at ifitweremine.com.